You are listening to the Eskimo Empire Podcast, a proud member of the Canadian Football Podcast Network.
Welcome to the Empire. It's the Eskimo Empire Podcast.
Riley's in the shotgun, looking downfield, and then throws. It is up in the air to the goal line. Bounces. What a catch! What a catch by Duke Williams! Touchdown, Eskimos! Bryant Mitchell! It's going to be intercepted. Arjun Colhoun.
Mike appears to be a CFL encyclopedia.
Welcome back to the Turf District for the Eskimo Empire Podcast, brought to you by United Construction Company. I'm your host, Andrew, and you can find all of our social media channels, blogs, and show links at eskempire.ca. And then while you're on the internet, anyway, you might as well check out our sponsor at unitedconstruction.ca. See all the amazing work that they do. With me, as always, is Commissioner Kayla.
Oh, I'm first?
Today you are. That's right, because returning back to the pod is the one and only Super fan Mike. How are you?
The triumphant return.
That's right. We've been waiting for the dulcet tones of Mike.
Dulcet tones.
That's
or
right.
Dull, whatever.
What?
It's partly right.
Dull tones?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Dick Dale and his dull tones.
That's nice. I'm a little worried about what music that is. How are you guys' long weekend?
Quick.
Quick.
It flew by.
It did.
I'm like, it's only Saturday, isn't it? No, it's Monday.
It's Monday. We're all getting ready to
Looks like someone's got a case of the Mondays.
Nice. But how was your time off, Superfan?
It was good.
Yeah.
It was just, I was batching it for this weekend, so with Jedi off visiting family with Thomas, so we just kind of hung around. I was going to, at one point, I had all the best intentions to go down to Heritage Days, and which is one of my favorite festivals, seeing all the different displays and presentations, and, of course, the food.
Of course, yeah.
Can't go wrong with the food.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But just, one thing led to another, and I ended up doing a bunch of other things. So I did get down to the Antique Mall and picked up another Eskimo goodie, which we talked about in the Periscope, so that was kind of fun.
Make sure you check that out.
And, otherwise, then we, of course, hung out earlier today, and we'll talk about that later. And, it was a good day. It was a good.
Excellent. Kayla, how was your weekend?
Yeah, I didn't do much.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing.
No, it sucked.
That's what he meant.
I mean, okay. I thought, wouldn't it be nice to just have a relaxing weekend?
No, because I have
lots
to do.
Oh, I see. Okay.
With the crocheting and stuff. Although I did a lot of that today.
Oh, yeah, a lot of scarves.
But I saw Ant-Man on Saturday finally.
Oh, nice.
Is it good?
I haven't seen it
yet.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
Okay, good.
But I really liked the first one, too.
See, now, I
love Paul Rudd.
Oh, he's just a
The first one was
dreamboat.
great. Yeah, the first one was great.
Was it?
And I just last week finally saw Infinity War.
I have not. I've heard mind
book
blown.
therapy for right after. And I heard that Ant-Man and Wasp is like the perfect bounce
Therapy?
back. Like, it's good therapy.
Yeah. Stay after the creds because I was like...
They're always,
No, but stay after these ones.
Yeah.
Especially the mid one. I was just like...
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
Interesting.
Ooh.
So I should probably see the first one first, though.
Yes.
Okay.
You should.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
Again, it's Paul Rudd, right? So.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, you've got to see that. Excellent.
Yeah. I could go on and on about it, so I just shut up. I know what
problem.
you're thinking, Max.
Now, I do want to say thanks to everyone that came to the tailgate this past weekend, and of course, west of us. It was so nice to have so many people in from out of town.
That was fun.
It was great.
Ferlin, Jacqueline, Aaron, and all these people.
A bunch of people I'd met for the first time.
Yeah. So that we just knew from their Twitter CFL family, and it's so amazing when you get it. It was it's like Grey Cup when you finally get to meet these people, right?
Yeah.
And it's just so fun to chat with them, and I was happy everybody got a chance to come by. Like, I thought it was great.
Yeah, we had a lot of response. We actually went through all the food,
which is awesome.
Which is great. We actually, unfortunately, had some people, Matt, who had been on the show.
Yes.
episode 105 or
Something
whatever
like
it was.
that,
He was
Mr.
there.
Pretty.
Mr. Pretty. He showed up, and unfortunately, we were out of food. It was too bad.
He got a burger, though.
Yeah, our neighbors
Did he?
had burgers.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So it worked out well.
And
Yeah.
we had, of course, Wayne, who had been on the show before.
Yes. Yeah.
He showed up. Actually, someone I'd been talking to for years on Esks Fans.
Oh, okay.
Messaged me on Esks Fans and said, I'm going to be there. What stall are you in?
Oh, nice.
So I got to meet
Okay.
him and his son, which was great.
Oh, I saw you talking to some people.
So
there.
that was
Yeah,
kind of
that's good.
neat.
Yeah.
So again, lots and lots of people. Of course, Jeremy from UCC and his wife were there.
Yes, yeah.
Which is always great to see. He's just a super guy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so easy to just hang
Yeah.
out with, right? So it was kind of nice because all these different people from everywhere, and we all get to just kind of
Yeah.
hang out. And the hardest thing for me is trying to get to say hi to everybody,
Yes.
like because you want to do the food, and you want to watch a bit of the game, and you want to do like it was just so. But you know what though, it's still just an awesome time.
And we had the
Love
early
it.
game on,
Yeah.
which was hilarious because we were all watching the early game against Toronto, Ottawa, Toronto.
Yes.
And we're just like, oh, they're up 24 points. Like, this is no lead is safe. This one's over.
Yeah.
So over. And then we got into the stadium, packed everything up.
Yeah.
The score was what? Pardon?
Yeah. I love when they announced it. Everyone, like, you could hear the crowd just, whoa, woo!
The crowd kind of went, "What?"
It was
So
fantastic.
It was fantastic. Yeah.
Do that again.
No.
Okay.
It was pretty. Yeah, it was very, very cool. So, now we're gonna have some fun tonight. We're gonna chat a lot of football. We've got, of course, Esks to talk about. We've got our pick'ems. We've got our fantasy picks. We'll have our CFPN game preview, and of course, the return of the Esks history moment. But I
right.
do want to let everyone know that this will be our last show for a couple of weeks, just because I do have that surgery next week, and so I just gonna need some time to recover, and then we'll be back at it. We will try and get you guys are going to try and work on getting a couple of just kind of player interviews or something that we can pop up if possible, but we'll see how it goes.
And then, of course, I guess you're going to miss the next tailgate.
Unfortunately, yes.
Not the West of Us in the Park one, which is great.
No, I will be at West of Us in the Park for sure.
So yeah, that's the 18th, which I think is Poutine Day, number 2.
Oh, that's a tough one to miss.
Yeah, it is. But there's so many other good things coming up.
Yes, that's true. Yes, we might have to do poutine one more time just for fun.
Well, yeah. Then what are we going to drop? There's so many good things coming.
Figure it out.
Yeah, it's true. Maybe we'll double up.
Maybe we'll do that. So, needless to say, we'll be off for probably a couple of weeks anyway,
right.
And then, we'll put out as much as we can. We'll still be, of course, as active as we can on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook,
especially
and
you
things.
now.
So, yeah, exactly, because I'll just be lying there anyway.
Yeah.
So, we'll be in touch, but just wanted to let everyone know that that's kind of where things were at. So, you mentioned it already. West of Us in the Park. It's this week. As this show comes out, it basically is tomorrow. It's Thursday the 9th. So, we've got some prizes coming. Now, I do want to mention we got a special donation prize.
That is going to be so
24 cupcakes from Confection Fresh Baked Treats, which is also Janelle or Jangle Spruce. Oh,
you guys have no idea how good those are.
Oh,
that's a door prize right there that people are going to be clamoring for.
I'm like, the Esks stuff is all great and everything else, but let me tell you,
there's something special about her cooking or her baking.
My goodness, those cupcakes are unreal.
I don't know how many people have proposed to her,
and she
in front of Sean, her husband. Chantel has. She's like, I know you're married, but just in case.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there going, "What? Okay, I can understand."
Yeah.
Well, okay, I can get it. And she's going to be at West of Us in the Park, and she's bringing gin and tonic cupcakes.
Nice.
So I this is going to be fantastic.
I have had a gin and tonic cake before, and it was excellent. And with her special touch on it. Friday I should take off.
Yeah, you probably should. Yeah, you probably should. So there are a couple of spots left. If you want to join us, make sure you message me and I will get you the info. This is just going to be a blast. Oh yeah, another one just came in. Out at the UCC Park, we're going to watch an early game. We're going to watch the live game, BC versus Edmonton, 14-foot inflatable screen.
What's the early game?
The early game is the 2005 Grey Cup,
where
we will
good one.
Cut out maybe some halftime so that we can actually get through everything.
Yeah.
But we'll start that about 5:30, and it'll run through right till the beginning of the live game. So this is going to be so much fun. Yeah, I'm so excited. Let's talk about our game from last week, shall we?
Yeah,
we should probably get into that. Esks win their third straight, beating Saskatchewan 26-19. It's always good when we beat Saskatchewan. And 35,000 people there. So that was a decent crowd, biggest crowd of the CFL so far this year. And
that's impressive considering the weather and everything else.
Absolutely.
And a Thursday night late.
Yes. 8 o'clock Thursday
You
night,
have
yes.
that like at a 6 o'clock on a Saturday, you're looking 40,000 plus.
Easy.
So.
And the best thing about that for me was that you could actually hear that there was 35,000 people.
Yes.
Late in that game when we had to cheer for the defense, that place got loud, and I loved it. It was awesome.
It was weird for us because we were in the alumni room.
Oh, right. Yes.
And,
okay.
It's very people that haven't been in it before. It's at the south end of the stadium, and it's all glassed in, so you can't hear at all.
Really hear the crowd
unless they open the door. I mean, they do have the big screen on,
and the windows they can open at the top,
but they aren't open very much. So you don't really hear Al Stafford.
Right.
You can hear the crowd when it's super loud. So. You all you can, and we weren't early enough because we were doing the tailgate, so we couldn't get along the windows. So we were in the back, so we almost had to watch it on the big screen.
Oh, okay.
Which is about 10, 12, 13 seconds delayed. So you hear this massive roar, and you'd be like, "Let's look at the screen, see what happens."
Okay, yeah.
And then you'd hear kind of a small roar, small cheers, and be like, "Okay, that's a Saskatchewan cheer." So
that's
It was like compared to our
yeah. Because, I mean, it was definitely some excited people, but nowhere near as many. So you're like, oh, that's...
Exactly.
Yeah. And of course, the $410,000.
Well, that was kind of nice. And a guy won it.
And he was an Eskimos fan, which is great. Long-time fan.
Alan Roswell takes home the $411,000. That's not a bad night for watching football. An Esks win and $400,000.
Yeah. Especially for that guy.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. All right.
I already spent it, so it's kind of a drag it and get it. But,
nice.
Good for Alan.
No, yeah, good for him. Let's talk about our good and our what the
fire trucker
for the game. All right, Kayla, we always start with you. I think we should start with you again.
Oh, okay.
What's your good for the game?
I actually have a lot.
Okay.
Do I have to pick just one?
Wait. Can I interrupt? Can I just do my good first? Because I have one
let's
really
do
good.
reversed here.
I have to do one good.
She's
I have
got
to do
a
one
lot,
good
so
first. I almost forgot about it. The Earthquake shirt made on TSN.
Yeah.
And Chris Cuthbert called him Earthquake and said he was off the Richter scale. People were texting me, and I was like, I was floating. We
were losing our mind because we were seeing it on the big screen.
Oh, yeah.
And I just looked at it, and it's like, pan down, show the logo. But still, it was just amazing to see it. And then you could see he was still talking about it, and it's just...
Was that pregame?
Oh, it's awesome.
With when he ran down... Oh,
yeah,
okay. They don't have that in the what do you call it?
In the stadium itself.
Oh, the replay?
The replay, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, no, it happened... It actually showed it with
during
1 minute and 50 seconds left in the first half.
Yeah. So
then
it was still in the game?
They flashed back to the beginning when he was getting ready.
Oh, okay, I have to go pay attention to
that. I know.
That.
That was so awesome. I was like, and you know what? Our CFL podcast network friends... I mean, I loved it. I was getting text messages and Twitter messages, and holy crap, your shirt is there, and it was really neat, and that was really, really cool to hear.
Oh, it's cool to something that we kind of put out there and seeing it on a national broadcast. It was just like,
well, especially after we just asked Kwaku, is it catching on? Well, it is now. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Might have to do a fourth run.
Yeah, probably. Quite likely. Anyway, I just needed to interrupt and put that in there because it was so exciting. What is your...
You're right. You go...
Oh, he's got a lot there. Again, I've got a couple as well. I think that Darrell Walker catch that he had no business making.
Double coverage for the touchdown?
It's just, absolutely. Just one of those things where you look at it and go, people have been asking me at least, what happened to Darrell? Because he was such a force when he came into this league partway through the season and then the next year. And then sort of kind of faded off a bit.
Yeah.
Or... maybe was overshadowed anyway by the emergence of Duke Williams. And if anyone had forgotten about him, they sure remembered on Thursday night.
Oh, yeah.
But that catch, again, there was the window was maybe about 2 feet wide and double covered, and nobody else could have caught that ball but Darrell. And if he would have dropped the ball, nobody would have blamed him. But the fact he came down with it, just an outstanding play that makes you remember why you love this game.
Well, this one was the Darrell show, really. I mean, he caught basically half of Riley's completed passes. He had 6 catches for 154 yards and a TD. Like, that's it was vintage Walker.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Kayla.
Well, there was one.
I figured you had a few backups, so.
I tweeted out that personally speaking, obviously the MOP is always a reason why this team does so great. So that's you don't even have to say that. That's pretty self-explanatory at this point. But for me, the guys that it was a team effort, but the guys that stood out for me were Gable, Walker, and that D-line.
Absolutely.
The D-line for sure.
The heck?
Absolutely. The D-line, they stopped Saskatchewan
5 times, 4 times.
You guys are just like overruling my goods.
Go ahead. I was so excited. It was amazing.
That's why how many, like, those stops, even though Saskatchewan scored on that third down, okay, like...
But the part of that is they had first and goal on the one.
Well, and that's just it.
And it took till third down.
Exactly. And then the next one was all three that they couldn't get past on the freaking 1 yard line again. Yeah. Like, holy...
Is that the mind blown?
Yes.
Okay, that was perfect.
And that's when you really, like... The fans, you can tell that, yes, we had a part of it too, but this D-line is just cranking it up a notch, and it is finally a force that is actually scary in this league. And finally, I believe in my own words back in training camp where I said this defense could be one of the best out in the CFL, if not going to carry our team.
Yeah.
And now I'm back believing in what I previously said, because there was a while there where I was like... I was very hard on them.
And we're getting somebody back on the D-line. I can't wait to edit this part.
I can only imagine. That was a good one. I agree. And that was my good, was the defense just... They really stood out.
Unbelievable.
And that line was playing on another level. And the last thing that I'll add then to goods is... 7 penalties for 59 yards.
Yeah.
Which is outstanding.
What a huge improvement.
Difference. Wow.
Huge improvement.
Wow.
I mean, that is.
Was there
when you think
15-yarders?
of 191 last
we
week.
Definitely had nowhere to go but down, thank goodness. But
still, if we can keep that, under 70, when you got to think that there is going to be a couple of holding or a holding that's going to happen. There is going to be a couple of offsides.
Procedure, yeah.
You're going to get a couple of those things. So you have to expect that you're going to get some penalties. So for us right now, if we're under 75, I'm thinking, wow, that's a great game.
And there was no 15-yarders, were there?
I think there was only one.
Yeah,
I think there was one. But it was. But overall, I mean,
well, there was a PI in the end zone.
Well, and that one was it was 16
in air
yards.
quotes.
Oh yeah, that
PI,
was the 50. Yeah,
the PI that all of us know about. Anyway, we can't really talk about missed penalties because they didn't call a suplex on Mondo either. So we'll take
the trade off.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Even Stevens,
lovely, loved it. And both teams actually got a touchdown taken off the board after review, which is interesting, right?
That's true.
That was
that Duke one where he got picked. Yeah.
I was so excited because I was just saying to Nicole right before that happened, I said, well, doesn't look like he's going to get the 100 yards. And then that was a 97-yard touchdown, and then they took it away. I was like, crap, I thought he might do it. Yeah, that would have been really
He would have had
fun.
the record, but as it is, I mean, that just shows you how impressive it is that to get that record in the first place, to tie it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, it's hard to go 5 games in a row where you are the target.
Yeah,
it's also nice to see our other core being utilized.
Sure.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Like I don't know about you. Like even if it was a Batman, if he was just constantly throwing to him, I kind of get bored.
Right. Yeah.
Because
at least after about 3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, yeah. You know the depth and you know the talent.
Exactly. Yeah.
Don't get it.
Yeah. 3 or 4 seasons, then you'd be upset.
Yeah, once I said 3 or 4 seasons of him getting every ball, that would eventually.
Then you might get a little tired
yeah.
of it.
Well, no, I get bored really easily, so one game is good enough.
I do think, it's and co-host Kenny having a great game as well. So
he's had a great season. This has been he's been in the league for several years now, but this has got to be one of his best seasons ever.
Oh yeah, and he came down with a highlight reel catch. In this one
Too bad it wasn't
so.
Against Carter.
Yeah, that would have. Carter was on offense, and
I know, but that would have.
Okay. Anyway, let's get to our what the fire trucks. Superfan, do you want to start this one off?
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly no lack, even in a win. Yeah. I think the biggest one is just seeing Mike Riley being human.
He can be.
I mean, those 3 quarters, he had 6 completions in the first 3 quarters.
Yeah.
At the 4th quarter, he's like, "Oh right, I'm Mike Riley. I'm the reigning MOP.
That's right. Yeah.
Let's just take this and win it." But for those first 3, it's just like he was overthrowing people.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was it just wasn't in sync.
Yeah.
And for some quarterbacks, that's an average game. But for Mike Riley, I mean, we've come to expect superhuman results. And
Yes.
And it was just like, I don't know what's wrong, but let's just shake it off and get it going. Flush it, as he says.
I think you will. I think you will.
So, I mean, but
He's
all things
allowed
considered.
one, and they still won.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, when it comes down to it, fourth quarter, who do you want?
Oh, it's true.
Yeah.
Although the Hamilton
Exactly.
game, he wasn't necessarily playing great either.
Well,
so.
yeah, okay, yeah, sure. But
He's allowed two.
Yeah, exactly. And
They
then
split him.
he'll bounce back. It's all good.
They just have a hard time against Hamilton anyway. It's just like this
they
weird,
do. And,
yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's something weird. All right, what's your what the fire truck there?
Oh gosh, it's not even it's not huge, but just kind of the lack of return.
Yeah.
There's no holes created for Jordan to kind of, and he's still quite new, so for him not to have that extra man coverage to get him some lanes to run through, I think that's really sticking out right now because there's
and then he got injured, which didn't help.
Well, yeah.
On kind of a nasty helmet-to-helmet hit.
Yeah.
I actually, what I wrote down was, are we ever going to get a consistent good return or cover?
Yeah.
Because it was on both sides. But it was interesting because, again, I was saying to Nicole, I was like, look how Saskatchewan blocks.
Yeah, there's-
Jones has space to options to
But
run.
Yeah.
to me,
right?
that's what I said at the end of 2015 when Jones and company left. Is Craig Dickinson, I think, is one of the biggest losses we had.
Absolutely, yes.
And going from Dickinson to McDermott, two very different styles.
Yes.
You can tell.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just, I think he is thinks at a different level, much like a Mike O'Shea
Right.
on special teams. And just he's missed, and you just can't replace a guy like that.
Yeah.
And
tough.
it's not like it's crappy, which is good because it was a little. You wanted to pull out your hair and scream, as
Yeah.
I do very often. But it is getting better. The tackling has definitely improved. Like Josh Woodman is totally impressing me this year, which is awesome because I said it was going to be your year, and he always has like several tackles during a game. And I mean, he did miss one and then made it up for it, right? So, like, it's not horrible, but it could definitely be better. And if you put Riley in a position to actually get a few yards that are past the 40, not starting from the 20 or the 30, then this team could be even more deadly. So
we're going to need to start seeing that pretty soon, at least once we get into September.
well,
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
and with
maybe
the return of Jamel.
Exactly. Will
You know.
make a bit of a difference.
I don't think you can blame Jordan Robinson
Absolutely
for this,
not.
though, because I think you could put the second coming of Gizmo in there, and it doesn't really matter when you're not getting the blocks.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not Gizmo, because Gizmo's a special
Yeah,
guy.
that's a little different, yeah.
But it's just, if you're not getting any blocks whatsoever, and you're surrounded by 3 or 4 of
But
the
Jamel
opposing
is also
As soon
the
as you
teeniest
catch.
person you've ever seen, so he can just slip through.
That's true. Like we said in practice, he looks up to Sean White.
Yeah,
That's right,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't
and
mean
like
as a
this is
person.
Jordan's first year, right? So of course
yeah,
you
of
can't
course.
blame him, right?
No,
it's
no.
just having someone even to look onto like Jamel because he has been in this league,
Mm-hmm.
right? So just to even watch and learn, that's going to be beneficial for
Yeah.
sure. And like we've seen what Jordan Robinson can do.
Yeah, oh,
Also
absolutely.
seeing Shaq Cooper today was.
But don't forget Jordan Robinson in that preseason game.
Oh, yeah.
was
he broke that one.
Oh yeah. Well, that's why I kind of
With the right blocking, I think that's.
Well,
he could
I'd
be
rather
elite
see
football.
him
Yeah.
on the offense because that one play with
Yep.
Calvin McCarty
Oh,
is still
yeah.
one of my favorite plays
Absolutely.
of the season.
Yeah.
So to maybe see him switch up a little with Gable.
Well,
that
when
would
he's
be-
healthy, I
When
think
he's
you could
healthy,
see.
yeah.
of course.
Yes.
When
Maybe
everyone's
Jamil
freaking
doing the
healthy.
main return things,
Yeah.
and Robinson maybe doing punt returns or kickoff returns,
Yeah.
whichever.
Yeah.
And then spelling off Gable for a change of pace, maybe
Yeah.
sweeps
Yeah.
and things like that. So.
That's why this
Could be
team
kind
has
of a-
so much talent. You just want to see it
You
all.
gotta
That's
use
true.
it all. Yeah, exactly. Before
I want a wishbone.
Yeah, before I get to my what the fire truck, I actually, just because we were just talking about Jordan Robinson, at practice today, we got to meet Jordan Robinson's mom, Michelle.
That is so sweet.
And oh my goodness, what a
What an
sweetheart
amazing
of a
woman.
lady.
Yeah.
I was just totally flattered that she asked for a picture with us.
Knew
and
who we were.
Said, she said, I listened to the podcast. I'm like, what? Really? Okay.
This woman from California, we don't know who she is at the time.
But so nice and so friendly, and you can tell Jordan was raised by a good person, and it's just it was awesome to meet her. So I do want to give her a shout out because that was super nice of her to do that.
They have similar smiles.
Absolutely,
Yeah, there was no mix up at the
Yeah.
hospital
Yeah.
when
No.
you looked
We
up.
looked up again,
So
and
he's
like,
like,
oh, no,
oh,
no,
that's
no.
definitely
Yeah.
his mom.
That's
Yeah.
What the fire truck with this one, you guys covered both of them, but I want to say that we gave up 4 sacks and we didn't get any. As much as our D line was going, we did not get a
We got some pressures
sack.
though.
We got pressures, which they don't count, but we didn't get a sack. And
I thought we got one. Was it taken away?
Not according to the stats. Yeah. So if we did get one, it was taken away on a penalty,
or he just crossed the line of scrimmage, or
something like that.
Okay.
And now we gave up 4. Part of that, I think, was
2 of them.
Riley was holding onto the ball way too long. Yeah.
And the other ones, I mean, we have 2 changes on the offensive line.
Exactly.
Where you've got Ruby coming in. Now, Ruby did alternate at right guard and sometimes left guard.
Yeah.
But having David Beard come in, who I thought actually had, for his first start at center,
absolutely.
I think had a decent game.
Yeah.
But it's not the same kind of game as Sorensen.
Yeah.
Sorensen... he's got that nasty streak.
Yeah, he commands that line.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at practice and you see Mondo going against Sorensen, you're like, I would never get in the middle of that. Ever.
I'm nervous and I'm sitting in the stands.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I could be sitting at home and I'd be like,
please don't hurt me.
So true.
Exactly. Well, talking about that offensive line, guys, we might as well catch up with who we talked to today out on the field. We were lucky enough to catch up to Jacob Ruby, number 55, to see what his first start was like. All right, we are joined now by, I guess, new offensive lineman starting this week, Jacob Ruby. How you doing, and how was the first start?
It was awesome. It's been a while since I got to start a game, and you realize how much you love to play the game, so it was good to get that feeling back for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So now you've been on the practice roster last year, then you're playing in a little bit more, doing a bit more rotation this year. What's it like with this offensive line?
I mean, it's awesome. There's a good core group of guys that have been here for a little while, so then you've got vets like Matt and Justin that have been doing this for quite some time that you can always learn from, and then we've got a pretty good coach too, so it's a good group of guys and fun place to be for sure.
So obviously Andrew just mentioned this was your first start with the Eskimos. What's the difference for you in preparation between starting and backing up?
I mean, really nothing. I mean, even as the sixth man, you have to prepare each week like you're going to play, because we've seen before how quickly you can be asked to step in there. So nothing really different. I think obviously if you're starting, you're in there for more reps, so that's more more chances to get things right and become more comfortable in there for sure.
But as a sixth man, do you have to say look, left guard as well as right guard, that kind of thing?
Yeah, if you're the sixth man, I still get reps at, I've taken reps at between this year and last year at every single position on the offensive line. So that helps me. And playing center in the preseason too was eye-opening a little bit, but it helps you understand everything across the board a lot better. So formations, when receivers are coming in, going out, changing the points and everything, that helped me become a better player for sure.
Now, we usually ask about pre-game rituals, but I want to actually, and this is Mike's question, I'm stealing it, but what does post-game look like for you for a couple of days? You're in this constant car wreck and you're playing a game, and so how does that go for you?
Well, we've had pretty late games the past little while, so if it's late, usually you gotta go straight home maybe and grab some food or something like that. But if the game ends early enough, usually the boys and we'll get together and go get some food and hopefully celebrate a win after. But with these late games, it's usually right home, put my daughter to bed and grab some food and get to bed myself. So.
I bet.
So you just mentioned your daughter, of course, a new father the last little while. How's it been like balancing? Obviously, your wife's putting in a lot of work, but balancing as a father and a player.
No, it's definitely different. You're busier for sure, but it definitely puts a lot more pressure on my wife, who you have a whole new perspective for moms and everything that they do when you have your own daughter. So my wife's been great with it, and she works from home, so she's been balancing working and taking care of Zoe, and she's been a warrior. So props to her. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, let's talk a little bit about you more outside of football. So what do you like to do when you're not playing football?
We like to go to the mountains. Nice. Obviously, if we get a couple days off in a row, we might go out there to Banff or Jasper. We like Elk Island. That's a good spot to go to. Yeah. I like fishing too, so I'm trying to get maybe on the next little block of days off we get. I'll get to go out, but I've been up to Slave Lake and fish there and do that outdoor stuff. Like to get out, so.
Nice. And best part of being in Edmonton, because this is a totally different city for you, and the whole. No, it's a couple of years now, but what do you like best about being here?
No, this city's awesome because I'm not really a big city kind of person to begin with. So, but Edmonton kind of has that. If you want the big city feel, you can go down to Jasper or maybe like White Ave if you're into that too. But it's very spread out, so it's very easy to commute everywhere and to get around. So I love that, and then how much the fans love the Eskimos. You go around, walk around the city, and there's a good chance you're going to see some Eskimos gear or see some Eskimos fans. So it's been awesome, and I love it here. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Something we always talk about with all the players, and I don't know why I always get the food question, but are there any particular places you love to go in the city for good food?
Yeah, there is. I think with the chain, obviously, I'm a big fan of Cactus Club. Sure. I like Cactus Club. I like Local. That's a good spot. Yeah. But there's some good breakfast spots in Edmonton. Nice. And the Dutch is one.
Pancakes.
Yeah. Barb and Ernie's, 99 Diner.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of good breakfast joints, man. If you need breakfast, come to Edmonton. That's for sure.
Yeah. We always like asking the old linemen about food because they know. Right. They're supposed to know. What do you like to listen to? What kind of music do you do? What do you request for White Boy Wednesday?
Well, that's country, hands down.
That right? Okay.
That's when we get to play the country out there. But we'll hook up that. And I like country music. I don't think I hate any type of music. Like I'm pretty versatile with music. But if you probably go and turn my truck on right now, it's probably going to be Sirius XM, the highway. So it'll be country in there, but that's my go-to. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Nice. So, what about for watching stuff for Netflix or anything else? You binging anything? Do you have time?
Well, Last Chance U just came out.
Yeah,
so that's awesome. That's a good one.
It's a great one.
I'm also watching. I think it's I'm a Killer or A Killer.
Ooh,
It's a documentary about guys that are on death row. That's been pretty interesting. The 100, caught up on that.
Yeah.
I don't have at home in Ontario. I don't even have TV. I'm a streamer, Netflix, everything. So if it's on Netflix, I've probably seen it or I'm currently watching it. So there's a few.
New Orange is the New Black came out not too long ago.
I got all these things. Okay, so last question. You have 1 hour to spend and sit and chat with anybody, live, dead, whoever you want. Who is it and why?
Wow. That's a loaded question.
Yeah.
It's a loaded question.
It's a tough one, yeah.
I said that actually Cliff asked me this in the off season as part of the get to know the players. It was three people, and I think I said Jesus, Donald Trump, and Albert Einstein.
Ooh,
so I'd probably pick one of those. But if you can imagine sitting at a table with that kind of crew, there would never be awkward pauses in conversation. I don't think so.
Probably not.
There'd be some things going on there.
A few, yeah, exactly. Well, thank you for taking the time. We really appreciate it. Of course, best of luck on Thursday, and we'll be cheering you on as you guys take on BC.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you once again to Jacob. That was a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah. What a great dude.
Yeah, he's a funny guy, and just enormous or like,
just a little tall.
But when he said, I'll have I have three people to invite to dinner. I'm like, you can have as many as you like. Exactly. What I'm going to say no.
Yeah, exactly. He is a big dude.
Yeah.
But that was pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. We got a little bit of Esks news we should go over. I kind of missed this at the beginning, but Riley was named the Player of the Week from the Montreal game, which is right. And then, of course, Duke Williams won Player of the Month for July, which is also very suiting. The Eskimos did make some releases this week, releasing Giovanni Aprile, Maurice McKnight, and Rakeem Cox.
We also missed somebody else, Brian Walker.
Oh, Brian Walker retired. Right. Yes, I forgot about that one. So, yes, those are a few changes in and around things. Nothing too drastic. All things that just mean the team is getting healthier.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's the problem is actually today they started talking about with Moss and with the interview he had today that you have to make hard decisions now.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got people that are going to be getting healthy. And so what do you do?
Yeah, exactly. So who goes where, right?
I mean, you think about it.
We saw Hazelton back today. Where does he go? That's the thing. It's a tough decision to have to figure out how they're going to play this.
I think that's going to be, you might start seeing the Canadian receivers doubling up again and backing up. So we'll have one Canadian spot instead of two.
Right.
And then you can have, that's funny to think that it's like, okay, we have too many great American receivers.
So
Bryant Mitchell's having a hard time getting catches.
Yeah.
Getting targets.
Getting on the field.
Exactly. He was the healthy scratch this last week because you've got Darrell Walker, you've got Duke Williams. No way you can pull either of those two guys.
No.
You've got Kenny Stafford who's having
he's
having a phenomenal year right now. And then Hazelton's coming back and Bryant Mitchell. I mean, this is a guy that DT said was going to be the leading receiver in the league.
Yeah, I know.
And he's not seeing the field.
I know. There's some tough decisions ahead.
But at least if we can get some more Canadians in there, then at least you can get 4 Americans on it at any one time. So.
Yeah, so then it
better
actually
not pull
Ajay. What's that? Oh, Ajay?
I think it might be Ajay and Bahar are going to rotate.
Oh, well, at least if they rotate, that's fine.
And then special teams, of course, they both be
But
on
it depends on how you work the 46, because then who goes where? You can't keep everybody that's already been playing and then add more people. You have to take some people off somewhere, too.
Yeah, again, McKnight's been gone, so that's one guy that was off there. So that's where Hightower's going to go.
Right.
But then, where are you going to bring Vidal on? Who's going to come off?
Who's the
American that has to come off?
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be very interesting in the next couple of weeks here as they try and figure that out. Let's take a really short break now, and then we will come back with our CFPN Game Preview, our Pick'em and Fantasy Picks, and the return of the Esks History Moment. The Eskimo Empire podcast is brought to you by United Construction Company. As a full-service commercial general contractor, United Construction Company serves large and small-scale commercial, light industrial, and multifamily residential construction projects across Western Canada. UCC is a relationship-focused builder, forming a trust and respect that is at the forefront of their commitment to quality, value, and integrity. Visit their website at unitedconstruction.ca to find out more and support them as they support the Empire.
Get loud for me. Get loud for me. Get loud for me. Hands in the crowd, we tearing it down.
You can join the Empire online.
Find us at eskempire.ca.
Check out all the new blogs and then follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
For more history, follow at Esks History on Twitter.
And even more of my picks on Esk Empire Photo.
Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to help the pod grow. Thanks again for listening. Let's get back to the show. Welcome back. It is time for the return of the Esks History Moment.
Let's hear you cheer and holler for a mighty famous team. Let's hear you roar, you know what, for a team that's on the beat. Our voices rise up to the skies, the fans are glad to scream. We love those Eskimos.
Welcome back to the Eskimos History Moment. Today we're going to be looking back a bit where last year we would talk about birthdays that were coming up. So today we're going to be looking at a member of the Eskimos celebrating a birthday this month. Actually, probably one of the most important members of the Esks family.
Oh. Would that happen to be Dwayne Mandruzia?
No, sir.
No? Oh.
No. Not quite been around as long as Dwayne.
Okay.
A few things are, but it's actually not a person. It's Commonwealth Stadium, who turns 40 this month.
Very important.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's one of those things that it's been a member of our football family for so long, you almost forget.
Well, and it's always been there since I've been going. That's always been where I watch games.
Yeah, absolutely. So the stadium was built for $20.9 million.
Wow.
Which is about $70 million in our dollars, which is still a bargain.
Yes.
For the 1978 Commonwealth Games, which was hosted in Edmonton that year. And the Eskimos remained at Clark Stadium in 1978 until the completion of the games, playing their inaugural game there on August 30th, 1978. The opponent was the BC Lions,
fittingly,
and the reigning Western champion Eskimos were on the cusp of their incredible run of 5 consecutive Grey Cup victories, a feat not likely to ever be repeated. But if it is, I'm pretty sure it'll be asked.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
So the Green and Gold won that game 18-10, and the first points put on the new scoreboard, or should I say point, was a rouge scored by Dave Cutler in the first quarter off a missed 46-yard field goal attempt.
And Moretti is so excited.
Yeah, followed by a Hank Alisic 53-yard punt single in the second quarter.
Wow, look at that, eh?
Back-to-back rouges, the douche, if you will.
Nice.
The first touchdown ever scored at Commonwealth Stadium was in the second quarter as well, but was actually a defensive touchdown as legendary cornerback Joe Holloman intercepted Lions quarterback Jerry Taggy and returned the ball 50 yards for the only Edmonton touchdown of that game.
Wow.
Dave Cutler completed the Eskimos scoring with a pair of field goals in the second quarter before the final dagger in the Lions with a 44-yard three-pointer in the final 2 minutes of the game. Many of us have seen an iconic photo of the game's leading receiver, Tommy Scott, basically flying horizontal with his hand. That was actually taken at that very game.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
So obviously we know it wasn't a touchdown.
No.
Because there were no offensive touchdowns,
pretty.
but it looked amazing.
Yes.
So with this important milestone, Edmonton ushered in a new era. A Western Division record 42,768, which was a sellout, witnessed the regular season game at this new stadium, which got expanded even more for the 1983 Universiade games to 60,000. And how many of us can remember the Labor Day rematch in 2003 when 62,444 fans witnessed the home team defeat their southern rivals 38-0 en route to another Grey Cup victory?
That was in 2000 and...
2003.
Right.
That's something we will definitely maybe get together maybe before a game. We will watch that 2003
I think we need to watch that one. It was amazing.
Was one of the loudest games I've ever seen. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was so good.
So in the time since the Eskimos have moved into what is now the second oldest stadium in this Canadian Football League, Edmonton has seen 10 Grey Cup champions, 14 Western Championships, and a host of Hall of Fame players from Warren Moon, Dan Kepley, and the Dynasty-era players, up to Mike Riley and our current Grey Cup hopefuls as we get ready to host the 5th Grey Cup in Commonwealth history. She's hosted the likes of David Bowie, Pink Floyd, the Rolling Stones, AC/DC, Metallica, Dylan, Beyonce, and Taylor Swift. She's seen a Billy Graham crusade, soccer and rugby matches, filmed a few movies, and even hosted the first ever NHL game with the 2003 Heritage Classic. But to us, she will always be where we go to see our heroes don the pads and entertain us season after season. Happy birthday, Commonwealth, and thanks for being our home for the last 40 years.
Going for a touchdown. Going for a touchdown. Going for a touchdown. We love those Eskimos.
Nice.
I almost shed a tear.
There you go.
That was lovely.
So I did get I spoke with everyone's favorite statistician, Uncle BD.
Yes.
And he sent me some stats about the time at Commonwealth since August 30, 1978.
Okay.
So to put it in perspective, now this is an interesting little quirky one. The Eskimos' regular season record at Commonwealth is 247, 105, and 2 for a 70.1% winning percentage. But our record as the home team is 246, 105, and 2. It's a little bit of a quirk. Our regular season record as the visitor is 1-0-0. So most people don't remember in 1994, this is back when there was an American expansion, so there were U.S. teams playing. And one of them, with a rookie quarterback named Anthony Calvillo, was the Las Vegas Posse. Unfortunately, they canceled one of their games and couldn't make it up. So they played their home game at Commonwealth Stadium. So Edmonton actually was the visiting team on November 5th, 1994. Coincidentally, that was the lowest ever attended regular season game at Commonwealth Stadium with 14,228 fans there.
Still beats some.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Edmonton is 10-3 in 13 divisional semifinal games, 9-5 in 14 divisional final games. The total regular season attendance, 12,797,215 as of last Thursday.
Wow.
Sacramento, twice. Las Vegas, twice. Shreveport and Memphis have never won a regular season game in Commonwealth Stadium. Wow. Makes sense. They're only around for a couple of years.
Yeah.
The best winning percentage by any team is Baltimore, who went 1-1 for a 500 record. No one else has a winning record but Edmonton at Commonwealth.
Really? Awesome.
The most regular season victories, BC Lions.
Really?
With 25.
Okay.
The most losses in regular season, Saskatchewan, who just upped it to 45.
Yes.
The Eskimos have lost 105 in 354 games. The Riders have lost 45 in 57. Only 12 wins at Commonwealth Stadium.
Wow.
We have had 3 undefeated regular seasons there.
Okay.
These are 8-0 games, of course, in 1979 and 1981. And then in 1989, of course, we went 9-0. We have not gone undefeated since then. The worst season, which is actually a recent one, 2013, we were 1-8.
Ugh.
And then the last little bits here, the highest scoring game by the Eskimos at Commonwealth Stadium, regular season, was September 15th, 1995. We beat Winnipeg 64-10. That was a close one.
Yeah.
And then in the playoffs, November 10th, 1996, also against Winnipeg, we really had their number in the mid-90s.
That's true, yeah.
68-7 in a snowy day in the West semifinal.
We watched that one.
We did, and that was, unfortunately for Cal Murphy, it was his last game.
Yes.
They didn't take that well.
No.
Edmonton has shut out their opponents 5 times since moving into Commonwealth and has never been shut out in the stadium.
Wow.
And the last numbers, total points for 11,002.
Okay.
And the total points against 7,826.
Wow.
So there's definitely that hometown advantage.
Yeah,
for
the
sure.
home field advantage for sure.
Yeah.
At Commonwealth.
So,
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, I still remember my very first time because I went to Clark Stadium as a young kid from, say, 75 to 78. And I remember the last game there, which was against the Bombers.
Yes.
And we won, as we should, against Dieter Brock and the Bombers. And they were a good team back then.
Oh, absolutely.
We actually beat them in the 76 West semifinal, and we played them again in the late 70s, early 80s. And then the next game, playing against BC, walking into that stadium as, I think I was a 9-year-old, and it was massive.
Oh,
I couldn't even imagine anything that big.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get to see anything at the Commonwealth Games. I saw it at other events around the city.
Yeah.
And just walking in that stadium, and it was just massive.
Oh, yeah.
42,000 people. I couldn't even imagine 42,000 people at that age.
Yeah.
And it was just in awe. And I still, when we've been on field level looking up, I still get that same kind of feeling.
Me too. Yeah, every time I walk in, it's like, wow, this is our home.
Yeah,
awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I totally
It's where
get
we go to worship sometimes.
Absolutely. That's exactly what we do. That was a good laugh. I like that. Yeah. All right, shall we get to our pick'ems? Let's talk about our pick'ems, shall we? Leader this week is back to Vic L taking over the lead.
Well, this is back and forth. I like it.
Yeah, it's a little bit of fun there. I'm up to 36th place.
I didn't actually do my pick'ems until halfway through.
Really?
So
okay. 49 and 54 for you guys. So now, we've only got 3 games to pick this week, but the first game up is, again, the Eskimos. So that's cool. This time, of course, we're taking on the BC Lions, and we'll be, of course, watching it west of us in the park. The Uncle BD stats moment. Riley is on a 4-game winning streak against BC and 9 of the last 10 against BC. He also has a completion percentage of 70% or more in the last 6 games against his former team. Adding to that, both Duke and Walker have 3 100-plus yard games against the Lions. So before we get to the Eskimos side, let's go to the Lions side. In our Canadian Football Podcast Network game preview, we are going to bring in the one and only Podfather, our good friend Brian from BCLionsDen. How's it going, man?
I'm doing excellent, guys. How are you?
Doing very well.
Good.
Doing very well. We're glad you could join us. How was your? I mean, you had a little bit of extra fun this week. You flew out to Calgary to watch the BC Lions play. Tell us about your trip.
Well, besides some WestJet issues, everything was great. Weather wasn't as great as we thought it was going to be.
No.
We showed up without any rain gear. So we actually
a couple of West Coasters with no rain gear.
I don't even own any. Like I live in Vancouver and I don't own rain gear. But yeah, we showed up there in shorts and t-shirts and stuff, and then we had to buy the girls some Stampeder ponchos, and there's a picture of Susan online with a Stampeder poncho,
looking not impressed.
On her face. But we promptly left those in Calgary. But no, it was a good trip. The game could have been better on our end, but I thought they put up a pretty good fight against the Stamps, and they keep killing themselves with some mistakes, but I'm sure we'll talk about that.
Oh, I have no doubt. And that's the thing. It seemed like there was possibility. Calgary wasn't playing great necessarily, and BC I thought was playing really well.
Yeah, I think that's been the story of the Stampeders this year. They're just doing enough to win, right? And I actually went on the Stampeders CFL Horseman podcast while I was in Calgary, and we talked about the year that the Lions were 11-0 and rolled into Edmonton, and how they were just kind of getting by that year when they were 11-0, and then they got thumped by the Eskimos, and it was all downhill after that. So
right.
Maybe the Stampeders will start to develop some bad habits here and get a little bit lazy, but
we can hope.
Yeah, we can hope. But that's I think they're just getting by right now. They're just doing enough to win games, right?
Well, I think their defense is championship quality, and that's definitely holding them in a lot of games. Yeah. When we talk about on the Lions side of the ball, I know that was one of the things that you were putting out on Twitter, was that it was, it's second and long, and the passes are getting completed, and they're getting first downs against the BC Lions defense. Do you think that's like scheme in the secondary or talent, or where do you think that really lands on those guys?
I think it's a bit of both, because it's been happening all year long. And we've talked about it on our podcast, numerous episodes where, second and long, the Lions just can't make plays. And it's really unfortunate because, they're on first down, they're holding teams to pretty good yardage. And, for whatever reason, I mean, I was in the stands and I was talking to my buddy in Calgary there, and, I said, okay, watch what's going to happen here. They were second and 23 from like inside the 5. And I said, you watch what's going to happen. Sure enough, 50 yards plus downfield. I just turned around and said, yeah, told you. It's just like, I can almost predict it like clockwork, right? It's just something that's plagued this team. The one constant in all of that is Mark Washington as the defensive coordinator. I don't know, really what the answer is. It just seems like teams can find open receivers on us constantly, and it's a combination of things. I don't think you can just blame the secondary. If you don't get enough pressure on the quarterback, it's hard for those guys to cover for long periods of time. And, so I think it's, a bunch of things that are happening in that defense that just isn't getting the job done.
Well, I mean, you did have, they released Marcel Young, so they took one step in the right direction, I guess. Let's go from there. Super bad.
We've been hearing
the Riders signed him, so that's even better.
Yeah. They could just start him. That's great. Yeah.
We can always hope.
Yeah.
This certainly has been a tougher year for some injuries as well. Coming in there, we've obviously seen the last game where we were a short year, Jeremiah Johnson. And how do you think it's working with Trayvon Van coming to the lineup?
Well, Johnson did play last game, but he's
right.
Re-aggravated that ankle, so he'll be out against the Eskimos. I think it's kudos to Ed Hervey for stocking that running back position. When you first looked at all the guys that he signed, Trayvon Van, Brandon Rutley, you're like, well, where's the room for all these guys? But it's certainly proved to be a wise decision to have some depth there, and it's getting pretty thin now. You guys probably know more about Trayvon Van than I do. He played pretty well in a kick return role last week. It's going to be him and Rainey handling the duties against the Eskimos, which isn't actually a power running back duo. But, hopefully they can be sufficient enough against the Eskimos to get them through, and maybe Jeremiah Johnson can go the week after.
Tell us a little bit, because, obviously the change happened at quarterback 3 weeks ago, where they went away from Jonathan Jennings and back to Travis Lulay. It did seem to kind of reignite the offense, and you can actually see Lulay's leadership. Are you finding that that's a huge difference, or that it's actually making a big difference on the offense?
Oh, huge difference. I think the whole offense as a whole is more confident with Travis back there. And, I think you're still seeing some of our better receivers like Manny Arsenault and Brian Burnham dropping passes. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really hurt the club as well, even against Calgary last week. Manny Arsenault had a pass inside the 20 that was a tough catch, and it looked like he had it, but he hit the ground and it popped out. And, those are catches those guys have kind of made in the past, and we need those guys to start stepping up and making those catches. But there's no doubt about it. It's a different offense with Travis Lulay. Just more confidence, more efficient. I think the Lions have a chance in every game if he's playing quarterback. So, they're not quite at the level of Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg, I don't think, but they're certainly a lot better football team with Travis at quarterback.
So what do you think the future is going to be for JJ?
That's a tough question, right? I got asked that on the CFL Horseman podcast as well, but the thing is, Ed Hervey didn't bring Jonathan Jennings to BC, right? So he has no allegiance to him. If he doesn't think that he's the answer here, I'm sure he's going to be looking elsewhere. Jonathan Jennings is in the last year of his contract.
As most quarterbacks are this year.
Yeah, most quarterbacks are, and I think that's the thing, right? I think Ed Hervey might take his chances and maybe sway Mike Riley coming to BC.
Not funny. Okay.
But, I don't see that happening, honestly. I think Mike's pretty happy in Edmonton, and I don't see him going anywhere. But there are a few free agent quarterbacks coming out approaching the CBA. So, I don't even know if Jonathan Jennings will see the field again this year. Hopefully, knock on wood, Travis can stay healthy. And, maybe if the Lions get out of the playoff picture a little bit, they'll experiment a little bit and give Jonathan another chance. But right now, I don't see any reason to do so. And, it's hard to impress your general manager if you're not getting on the field. So I don't think that Jonathan Jennings is in a good position right now. I don't think that Ed Hervey feels any loyalty to him. And Travis Lulay is certainly not a long-term solution. So there's certainly going to have to be some signings in the future to address the quarterback's position.
Absolutely. So now coming into the game on Thursday, what do you look at as kind of the keys for the Lions to pull out the win against the Eskimos?
Well, like every team that plays the Eskimos, you got to stop Mike Riley, right? And that's easier said than done. But the Lions are a little better on the pass rush with Sean Lemon being added to the line.
Yeah.
Odell Willis has been playing pretty well. Gabe Napton's kind of fallen out of the picture a little bit. I don't know. I think at home the Lions have a shot if they can get pressure on Mike Riley, get some hits on him. I know certainly Odell Willis will be, hyped up to do that. Yeah. And, I think that, the Lions have been playing some pretty good football the last couple of weeks. It's just mistakes and little mental errors that are, preventing them from finishing games. And, I certainly thought they should have won that Ottawa game. If they had, punched that in the final 2 minutes instead of taking that time count. You're down by 8 in the fourth quarter to Calgary at home, who's at home, and you take a stupid unsportsmanlike penalty, as weak as that was. Wally Wano certainly wasn't using that weak call as an excuse. You've got to be smarter out there, and the Lions just haven't done that lately. They've been taking bad penalties at bad times, and it's been costing them, and mental mistakes like that time count in Ottawa. So they aren't a good enough team to make mistakes like that against good teams, right? So at home they're going to have to play a pretty perfect game. They're going to have to get pressure on Mike Riley and make his life miserable. And I think if they can do that, they have a chance. And obviously last time these two teams played, CJ Gable ran wild against the Lions. They're going to have to concentrate on him as well. So if they can get those two things done and get a good performance on offense, I think they got a shot.
Awesome. Well, we love chatting with you, Podfather. We love having you on for sure. So tell everyone where they can find you and your show and catch up with you online.
Sure. Thanks, guys. At BCLionsDen on Twitter. You can find the show on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, pretty much anywhere you can download a podcast. You can find us. The website's www.bclionsden.ca and facebook.com/bclionsden.ca.
Awesome. Thanks so much, man, and good luck on Thursday. I know So you don't have to worry about rain, all you domed stadium people. You can sit and just enjoy that.
I don't own rain gear.
That's right, exactly.
I got a dome. I don't need rain gear.
There's the secret.
There it is.
I don't take transit, and I drive everywhere, so I don't need rain gear.
Nice. Well, enjoy the game on Thursday. We will be watching on our giant screen here, and we will watch for you and cheer loudly when we see you on the screen.
All right, guys. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Take care, Ryan.
Always a fun chat with Brian, and glad that he's so positive on his BC Lions. Let's talk about the Esks side of things, shall we? The keys to win this game. Kayla, we haven't heard from you in a while, so what is the key to win the game here for the Eskimos?
Oh, man. Well, kind of the same thing as with the Saskatchewan game is you have to have completions, that's for sure, because we're going up against a defense that is gaining more confidence in themselves. Yes, themselves.
Let's go with that.
Yeah.
Very good.
Our O-line is definitely going to have their hands full, but I honestly, if we just keep doing what we're doing and keep the penalties to a minimum, catching, getting those first downs, and really controlling that D-line with our O-line, I think we're definitely going to have a shot.
Having Sorensen back, I think makes a big difference.
Having a lot of people back is going to have a big difference.
But I mean, specifically for that O line.
Oh yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Having that guy in the middle is going to make a big
he's
deal.
just
he's huge.
You
Absolutely. On every level.
On every level,
Yeah, exactly. We saw him at practice.
Yeah,
yeah. Superfan?
Feed the ball to number 2.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah.
Well, how many yards did Gable have in the last time we played
165.
BC? Exactly.
Yes.
I mean, that was, again, the O-line imposing their will on BC's D-line. Now, there's some changes in the BC D-line there. Mm-hmm. But that being said, Gable is due for another breakout game. He is way too talented to be getting 30, 40, 50 yards a game.
Yeah.
He's going to... If he can get the ball enough, because I thought he had like a 6-yard average in the last game, and they stopped in the second half.
Yeah.
I don't understand, but I don't think that's going to happen this game. I think he's going to come out running. BC is without their starting running back in Jeremiah Johnson, from what we hear right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he went through a couple, So
yeah, well, it might be Trayvon Van.
It could be Van. It could be
he was
Rainey.
Yeah.
But which is nothing to sneeze at for
No,
sure.
No.
But you're talking about. Jeremiah Johnson's given us trouble before, and him being out, we hate to see injuries to any player in the league. It does help us out for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go around on the other side of the ball. If we're getting some guys back, where you look at Hightower and the possibility of Colquhoun and those guys coming back in, we can't take Travis Lulay lightly.
Nope.
No.
Right?
Colquhoun was back last week, which helps a bit. He was a backup.
Yes, but he hasn't played. And so they got a little bit of learning some communication in the secondary.
That's why I think it's good, though. Colquhoun was back last week, so he's eased back in a bit.
Hopefully, yes. So, but I think that's a big key, is that we're going to have to remember that this is still Lulay in BC. There's still Arsenault. There's still Burnham.
Yeah, they're dangerous.
They do have an ability to score points. So the defense is going to have to play like they did against Saskatchewan.
Yeah. There's a reason why Mike Riley's so good. He was under the tutelage of Travis Lulay.
Absolutely. So I think that's a huge thing. So now our picks, of course. I assume we are all picking the Eskimos.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think we needed to do that.
But even though I have a soft spot for BC, I really want them to start doing well.
Just not
against us,
that's
obviously.
Right. Against Calgary. Perfect.
Starting next week, they can do great.
Yes, that's right.
Exactly.
But do you think it's going to be a big win? Do you think it'll be close?
I think we're going to see some bigger offensive numbers.
I think so too.
Especially for Edmonton. I think our defense, if they can build, I mean, the interviews we heard from Mike Riley today said that they were pleased with the direction that they were going, but they were not content.
Right.
And they will not be content until they get... He said no one's ever had a perfect game, so there's always something to improve on, and I think that's a great attitude to have going into another game.
Absolutely.
I don't think they're going to look at the Lions and think, "Oh, this is a free spot in the big
no,
card."
Stupid
they better
too.
not. That would that'd be a big mistake. Yeah, that's good. All right, our next game then is Friday, Hamilton versus Winnipeg. This one being in Winnipeg. So, Kayla,
I might change my mind now. Then
what do you got between Hammer and Pegger?
I thought it was in Hamilton.
Hammer and the Peg.
I know.
That'd be a good show. I'd watch that TV show.
Yeah.
Ooh, come back to me, please.
Okay, sure. Superfan.
I thought it was the other way around.
Yeah, I'm with Kayla in this one. That I think we're talking about two teams that definitely have the ability. They've been sort of up and down.
Mm-hmm.
If this had been in Hamilton, I think I might have gone with the Tigers. But being that this is a home game and that offensive line is still so strong for Winnipeg, I'm going to take the Bombers in this one.
All right. I was same kind of thing. I'm picking the Bombers, but I'm actually Hamilton coming off the big win over Montreal. Does that spark them to get better, or does that spark them to think, well, we've got this?
Didn't help BC when they beat Montreal in week 1 and then played us in week 3.
Not really. So I'm going to I'm going to go with the Bombers at home for sure. They just play on another level when they're there.
Yeah.
Kayla?
Oh, I'm going to be wrong.
Okay.
I'm just going to stick to my original.
Well, if you're going to be wrong, then please pick the Bombers.
Oh, touche. Why'd you say that? Now I'm all confused.
You always want the West to lose, except
That's
us.
right. All right, and you're picking...
Y'all, I have a real soft spot for Mazzoli. I can't pick against him. Holy Mazzoli. I have to stick with my original plan.
All right.
I thought it was in the hammer.
Do it. Yeah, it's definitely possible.
Well, no, of course. But so they have 2 road games in a row then, hey? Because they were in
Montreal and now Winnipeg.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'll stick with the Ticats.
Okay,
yeah.
nice.
Life's a little different in Winnipeg than it is in Montreal. So
just
and with
the
coming off the bye week, it can go both ways. You know, it could really rejuvenate a team, but it can also take them out of a
bit of a rust.
So holy moly.
Okay,
Mazzoli.
we'll go with. We'll go
all
with
right.
that. Okay,
you could be gaining some ground.
Yeah, you could.
Well,
and then Saturday night it is Montreal taking on Ottawa. Superfan.
Well, it's another whole week of whatever number 2's name is. They never said it, so I never really picked it up.
Mazzoli?
I had some new guy.
Yeah, I don't think Mazzoli wears number 2, but
no.
Number 2 in Montreal.
Sorry,
whatever.
my brain is frizzled right now.
That's all right. So, again, they never mention his name, so I don't know. I'll just call him number 2.
Perfect.
He's got another week under his belt. Maybe we'll see a Darius worked in there a little bit.
Possibly.
A lot less pressure. It's not that you wouldn't know it, but it's not that the Alouette defense is horrible.
No.
So they certainly have some options, but I'm just trying to find positives here.
It's good for you. Yeah, that's very helpful.
There's no chance I'm not taking Ottawa at home.
Okay, yeah. I'm taking Ottawa at home. Yeah. Kayla?
Yeah, I mean,
okay. Yeah, that's what has to happen.
I wish the best from the Owls. I really wish Vernon
Except for
was
next week,
playing,
yeah.
but
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Why not? I'd rather them do well next week than
Vernon.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, gosh,
yeah. So they're going to lose 2 weeks in a row. All right.
Seriously.
Yeah, I'm going to
2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, 8, whatever. But it's
can
this week.
If they could at least win against Calgary, that would be
that'd be
real special.
I was gonna say, especially if Calgary goes to Montreal, they have a hard time winning there.
Wouldn't that be just joyous? The occasion
lovely.
would be a phenomenal.
Oh, I remember it last year.
I was going to say, I was cheering pretty loud. I was like, you lost to Montreal?
Wow. That's pretty
I can't
good.
wait to hear the Horsemen this week.
But on the flip side, then everyone's going to be like, that's how big Calgary is. He must be phenomenal.
Oh, no, that's after they put Vernon Adams in.
Oh, I see.
True. Yeah, I like that. There we go. That's how this works. Yeah. All right, let's talk some fantasy football. Matt Pretty is still out in front, but Tequila did have a short lead for a little while and is within striking distance, so it's getting close up there. I moved up to 9th. Mike, you're sitting in 28th.
Oh, yeah. Again, I didn't make my picks.
You did? Oh, okay, till the last minute?
Yeah,
okay.
Well, not even last minute. We already been in a couple of games.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
so at that point, I'm like, well, I've got a lot less people to pick from.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
And I went with Duke and Riley.
Okay.
Because I thought, the last couple of weeks, they've been getting me a ton of points, and they finally came down to earth.
One. Yeah, they did.
I should have considered that they are playing against Saskatchewan, who tends to, that's their MO, is to hold the other team like at
the
least
top
striking
guys.
distance.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah.
whoever took Darrell Walker, he was so much cheaper, and he got a ton of fantasy points. So,
or what about
kudos to them.
Mazzoli and Saunders?
Oh,
what
absolutely!
Man,
combination that was.
Saunders phenomenal.
So cheap.
Man, oh man. You got any picks for this week, Superfan?
Yeah, I mentioned him earlier. I'm going to be loading up with some CJ Gable in this one.
Yeah.
Again, he seems to have a really good record against BC, getting lots of yards, hopefully some touchdowns, and maybe we can see some 30-plus points.
Oh my!
I'll take it. And then, of course, everyone's going to take the Ottawa D. So,
well, there's likely, I'm trying to see if I can pick a different one. We'll see if I can come up with something to pick up for defense instead of going Ottawa, because I think there might be. If you have to be different and get enough points out of it.
Oh, smart.
Right?
But if you're different and then they get a bunch of points and you don't, then...
Well, you got to find the right balance.
That's true.
That's the trick.
And what's the balance for pick'ems, man? Because I don't know it yet.
Nice.
Clearly pick what I don't.
I am thinking that I'm thinking that Deontay Spencer would be a good pick this week up against Montreal. I believe that was the team that he put 400 all-purpose yards on before. Was it them or was it Hamilton?
Well, it was Saskatchewan because he kept talking about 89.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, that was the beginning. I'm talking about last year.
Oh, last year,
the all-purpose yards. But yes, that's really funny. So I think he might be a good pick. I don't have a value pick because I haven't had a chance to look at it yet today.
Right.
But we'll see how that plays out. Well, guys, this was very fun.
Yeah.
Thank you as always. Nice. Yeah. Okay. Let's tell everybody where we can find everybody online. Commissioner Kayla.
At Dutch Lombardi.
Perfect. Superfan.
At 56 Parky.
And me at Free Policious. And, of course, the show at Esk Empire Pod. Thank you again to Jacob Ruby and to the Podfather Brian from BCLionsDen. We always love talking to both of you. Thank you again to our sponsor, United Construction Company. Check out their website at unitedconstruction.ca. You down with UCC?
Yeah, you know me.
And, of course, make sure that you join us west of us in the park this Thursday. It's going to be so much fun. And, of course, find us all on all of our social channels. You can find all of the links on eskempire.ca as well as the links to the show. So check it out there. We will be back as soon as I am able to get back down the stairs to record. Just follow our social media. We'll kind of keep you updated as best as we can. So, will Riley bounce back to his MOP form this week?
Absolutely.
Can the defense continue to keep teams under 20 points?
Absolutely.
And is it time to lock down a couple wins in the next 2 weeks?
Absolutely.
For Commissioner Kayla and Superfan Mike, I'm Andrew. Remember, you can't catch footballs with your face, and we will absolutely talk to you next week.
Thanks for listening. Find more great shows like this at CF Pod Network on Twitter.